ladies, welcome to Launch Your Coaching Business Masterclass. I'm delighted to have you all here. We've got a good few people that have joined the group to be able to access this masterclass. So you're all really welcome. As you know, this is the first of four masterclasses that I'm running through the duration of August. The reason why I'm doing this is it is driving me bananas to see how many people are struggling in their business, struggling to actually build their business, struggling to get any sort of results. And I want to just show you how to do it because it is possible, it is easy, it is so doable. But you have got to put yourself in the driving seat to be able to do this. So when you're on, make sure you say hi, let me know that you're here. And I want to start off by understanding what is your business? What is your coaching business? What type of business do you have? Who is it? Is it even active right now? Is it not active right now? Let me know. Share into the chat when you come on. Okay, so let's get cracking. For those of you that don't know me, I'm going to keep my intro super short. My name is Joanne O'Halloran. I am a business coach for female entrepreneurs who are in the service-based industry, so coaches, consultants, and holistic therapists. And I show women how to build their business from the ground up. Quick fixes drive me bananas. They absolutely frustrate me so badly because you're not actually learning the tools that are necessary to build a successful business and to have it so that you can thrive rather being in that survival mode all the time. A lot of coaches seem to be in that survival mode where you're constantly grabbing for whatever is low-hanging fruit, and you end up attracting people in that are either not for you, won't pay you, drain your resources, and you start doubting whether or not you're actually able to do this. So it's really important to know the framework to be able to build out a coaching business. And to be fair, for anybody that's done a coaching qualification, they will teach you some business, but they don't actually teach you the way it is right now. We're taught how you would get, be taught in school or in college about how to do it. And it's really important to know what the framework looks like, which is obviously what I'm going to show you. So on my journey, I'm going to keep it brief. For over 17 years, I worked in human resources. So you might say, well, transitioning into coaching was an obvious way to go. Yes and no. I didn't actually know that. I went on a journey of being really burnt out in the corporate world, suffered a lot with imposter syndrome. So even though I would have sat at a high level in the companies that I was in, I didn't actually feel like I deserved to be there. I would have been very shy, very reserved, and never put myself forward for anything. It was always a wait and see what happens, which obviously is very different now because I run my own business. It's very successful. I'm helping so many women to be able to generate consistent income, consistent clients, and build out their business model. So how do things change? A lot of HR people will transition into being a coach because it's a natural transition. But that doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be successful at it. Your success will be determined based on the effort you put in and the framework that you put in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get started and show you how to do this. If you're watching the replay, let me know that you're watching the replay because obviously it helps me know from a timing point of view when I'm running masterclasses what is working for people. So like I said already, let me know in the comments when you're here. Also let me know what type of a business you have right now or if you have one at all. And if you don't, great, you're going to learn literally from the ground up today. Okay. Your business is, you need the foundations, right? So everything is a stepping stone. Okay, stepping stone. If you don't have a pen and piece of paper, get one because you're going to need this. Because we're going to go quick and fast today for what you need and what you're going to get, okay? Be interactive with this. Ask questions. This is your masterclass, not mine. It's yours. So ask questions. What do you want to know? What do you want to understand? As I'm going through this, ask your questions. I'm here for you. Hey Chantel, how are you? It's good to see you. I love seeing your name pop up. Okay, so we're going to break it down, right? So write this down. So like I said earlier on, when you are starting out with a coaching business or any business, and if you go and get a business degree, which I have and I couldn't use, if you have gone to any of your local communities that are teaching you how to build business, they teach you backwards, right? They teach you backwards. And what I mean by that is they will teach you, I'm going to say it like it is, right? They'll teach you what not to do. Hey Smaranda, how are you? Hey Dita. So they'll teach you what not to do. And what I mean by that is they will tell you to do all of these things that you do not actually need to get your business off the ground. So they'll teach you things like, I'm going through the list of things that people have said to me when they come to me. Build a website. Right? And you'll see my face, and my face means it. Build a website. Get flyers. Go into your local community centres. You need a large audience. My face says it all. No, you don't. Okay? No, you don't. The foundations of your business that you need are levels of understanding and things that you need to have connected. One of them is not your website. Unless you have a product that you're selling, you do not need to start off with having a website. In my professional expertise, there are certain things that will cause you to be stuck, will pull out your perfectionism, and will make you not take any action steps at all. There's other things that are more important right now. You have to remember, as a coach, what are we here for? We are here to make a change in the world. We're here to impact people's lives, whatever type of coach you are. So, Smaranda, I already know that you're a health coach. Adita, what type of coach are you? Chantal, what type of a coach are you? Put it in what ye are, right? What type of a coaching business is it that you have? And that is the impact that you want to make in the world. The impact I want to make on the world is, I don't want women suffering of struggling with how to build a business. I want to show them. I want to show them the very simple way to do it and support them getting there. I want to take women from going from having zero revenue, zero clients, to whatever revenue they want and whatever clients they want, but that it's consistent. Chantal, mindset. Cool. Okay, so we're going to get into this. We're going to break this down. Honestly, ask questions as we're going. So we're here for an hour. Okay, so this one is your foundations. Okay, so your foundations. I'm going to bring you a little bit closer. Okay, so foundations. I'm going to get a different marker as well because that one's not that big. I don't have it here. Okay, so first one is your foundations. What goes into your foundations? So we know it's not a website. And this is based on the information I got at the start. I was told to build a website. Do you know I never direct traffic to that website? Hey Kira, how are you? Never direct traffic to that website. For the first 2 years of my business, I ignored it. It is now being moved off where it is onto a completely different platform so that I can actually funnel it properly. But at the start, if I didn't use that for the first 2.5 years of my business, why would you? Doesn't make any sense, right? What is your foundations? Your goal, your vision. What are you committed to creating? Not what are other people telling you what you're going to create. What are you committed to creating? You need to know what that looks like. So most people will go straight down the route of money. Let me tell you this now. If your main focus is money and you're not a money coach, you are setting yourself up to fail. You are setting yourself up to fail. Why are you setting yourself up to fail? Because until you get to a point where you're rinsing and repeating your systems to bring in consistent clients, you cannot have a goal being money. Your goal needs to be your vision. So from a coaching point of view, be committed to building relationships. How many new clients do you want to support? Not money, okay? So your foundations are your goal and your vision. Yes, you need certain business tools. What business tools do you need? Write this down. You need a landing page, not a website. A landing page to bring people to with your service on it. That's it. That's it. Nice and simple. Really, really simple. Any of the email marketing platforms which you do need an email marketing system, will have landing pages on it. Use it. Use it. Don't go building a fancy website, spending money there when you've none of all this. Your website will end up being here. So what business tools do you need? You need a landing page. You need your email marketing system. You need a way for people to pay you. And let me tell you now, if PayPal is what you're using, stop it now. I love PayPal. I use PayPal. I do not use it for my business. When you're starting out, PayPal has a really high, what's the word? Fee. Couldn't think of the word there. Has a really high fee. It also isn't integratable with an awful lot of things that you're going to do. Stripe is. Keep things simple. Please don't overcomplicate them. Keep them simple. Then you need a way for people to be able to book in calls with you, because you're going to be doing call to actions. So if you don't have that, get them. They are the basics of what you need. Your fee. Thanks Marla. You got me. Cheers. So they are the basics of what you need. And then your CEO mindset. What is a CEO mindset? A CEO mindset means that you're standing in full responsibility all the time. You understand that for whatever it is that you're creating, it is up to you to do it. Sitting there feeling sorry for yourself, wondering whether or not it's going to work, wondering whether or not people are going to buy from you, can you do this, is not a CEO mindset. A CEO mindset is always in solution focused, not problem solving, solution focused. There's a difference between problem solving and solution focused. You want to be in solution focused mode consistently. Always be able to course correct. See feedback for what it is, not emotional, but actual quality feedback. So like, as we're going through this, I'll explain to you, and particularly over the 4 days, if you're going to be with me for the 4 days through the audience build, your offers and your 5-figure launches. And if you're not, mark it on your calendars now, because we're going to be building these out even more. You've got to be able to stand as the person in authority that is delivering this. Self-doubt cannot come into this. We want to make an impact on the world. You've got to stand for that impact. You have got to be the impact that's going to be made. So having a CEO mindset is super important. Let me know what you're hearing from all of this. What is it that you're hearing? The last thing then, in terms of your foundations, which most people don't do, and I drive it home with my clients, is ways of working. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, what days are you committed to working? How many hours are you committed to working? What are the standards that you're going to put in for yourself? Most people, when they're building a coaching business, are in a corporate job and they're building out their business. There's very few people that are no longer in a job and that now they're starting their business. That's rare. Does it happen? Of course. But is it the norm? No, it's not. Most people are in a job and then they're building out their business. So to do that, the reason why people get so frustrated, particularly in corporate jobs, is because they're being dictated to when they work and when they don't work, and your life is being impacted by it. You do not want to set yourself up to build a business by being impacted by it. So figure out what way you want your life to be first. So how many days do you want to work? What do you want to spend your time doing? Like what do you really want to spend your time doing? And then what days are you committed to working and what times, so that you can like section off that. If you've got children, you can do it that, you know, the kiddies are looked after when you're doing that. If you've got dogs, like I do, who normally likes to, you know, have a little bit of scream and shout whenever I'm doing things. So it is rare that I would schedule things at this time. The reason I'm doing it today is because Leah, my daughter, is at home so she can mind the dog. If she wasn't here, I would never schedule stuff at this time, because what happens at this time? The postman comes. What happens when the postman comes? If you haven't heard it before, look back at some of my other lives and you will see, you know, all you can hear is Harley just screaming blue murder. So figure out what ways you want to work. So what days are you committed to working? What hours are you committed to working? So that you can have your priorities in those days, that you're not setting yourself up to sabotage. A lot of people set themselves up to sabotage. Okay, so Kira, mindset is key. Yes. What you stand for, I believe in. Love the answer in here, Joanne. Thanks, Kira. Smaranda, 3 days is what I want to work for 10 hours a day. You want to work for 10 hours a day, Smaranda? I wouldn't be recommending that. That's a bit excessive. Hey, Shabina. Kira, it's the perfect timing. I really need this. Oh, I'm glad. I'm here to support. Okay. These are your foundations, okay? These are your foundations. Not all the other stuff. The other stuff is what keeps you stuck. I did a live there a couple of weeks ago where I talked about how perfectionists go broke. Anything that you will allow you to sit and, I'll say, play around with it, but you know, consistently come back to it time and time again to try and make it just right, is being perfect. What happens when you get into that being perfect? You don't do anything, right? You start procrastinating. It drives in your feelings of not being good enough. just makes you feel really, really crappy. One of my mentors, Rex Crane, I adore this man, right? I feel so lucky that he is one of my mentors. Every week I pinch myself. He's incredible. Some people love him, some people have no idea who he is. I personally adore him. But I was listening to something he said the other day, and it really hit home with me, right? Around the goal and the vision. I was originally trained, not trained, but I originally did my whole mindset thing under Bob Proctor's program, and I still go back to this over and over again, thinking into results. It is my go-to. I love when Bobby P, as my friend Megan says, I love when he starts talking in the modules that are there, and you can really get connected to it. But Rex said something that brought this to a whole other level for me. He was asked one of the days, what's his goal for this year? And he turned around and he said, I don't make goals. He said, I've deadlines that I want to meet. He said, I've certain markers that I want to hit, but I don't set goals. So you know the way like you're taught to set like specific goals around money and everything else. This is why I tell you not to do this. Not because Rex said it, but I just don't think it's a good thing to do. But he said he looks at who he wants to become when he's creating this. Who is the person he's becoming? And that's what he measures himself off. I thought that was just so beautiful, like so incredibly beautiful. Because when we're creating our goals and our visions, we tend to make them like hardcore, tangible, that are beyond what we can do, right? So like say if you're in your first year of business, all right, I'm going to talk right realistically for a second. Is it possible to go from 0 to 6 figures? Yes. Is it likely? If you have never built a business before, if you're new to like audience build and all that, that is highly unlikely in your first year. That's not to say it's not possible, it's just unlikely. Is it more possible in your second year? Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. But that would be 6 figures in sales. 6 figures in income is completely different. You need to be hitting multiple 6 figures, which people don't talk about, which also drives me bananas. Okay, so Smaranda, it's double for me. It's where I am now. Probably will change gear. That's me. Love that idea. Wow. Okay, right. Let's keep going. Now we get into the fun stuff. So you guys can see this, right? Yeah. Okay. So you have your foundations, all right? These are important. Get them done. They don't need to take more than a day. I'm going to write it down so that there's no questions. We'll say 1 to 2 days. Don't allow yourself any more time because that's when perfectionism will kick in. Doesn't need to be this way. Now, let's move on to the next part. I am going to say this now, so this is not meant to be offensive, but I need you to hear this if you have done this. What we move on to now is audience. This goes against the grain of what you're taught. If you've ever done a coaching qualification, this goes against the grain. What we're taught is, what's your program? What's your program? Do you know how many people have come to me that have actually built out their program and haven't even looked at their audience, don't even know who they're serving? If you have built out your program, you are shooting yourself in the foot. Drop it. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying you're not going to use it. It is not where you get to put your focus. And I will explain to you why when we get here. But if you have done that, let it go, okay? Let it go. It is not where your focus needs to go. I'm speaking from experience. I built out my program. I was told to. I did it. Built out my program. I couldn't sell it. Why can't I sell it? Because I don't know who these people are. I know nothing about them. How could I possibly sell it? When I built out my program, that was about me and what I wanted, not about what they actually needed. If I was to build out my program before I know what you guys need, it wouldn't happen. How did I build out my masterclasses? Because I can see what's going on and I'm asking people what do they need. I could have generated a masterclass on anything, but what's the point? This is what you need, right? Okay. Your audience. You will have heard this time and time again. Niche the hell down, right? And I mean niche down. And be very specific about who you're niching down to. You have got to make sure that whatever model you're creating, you have got to be able to pitch yourself and meet people from where they're at. So a thing that I love to do is, when you're trying to figure out how to niche down, is literally draw a T box and go before and after. I'm going to give you a method to get clearer on who your audience is, but for now, when you're niching down, before and after. How are people before they work with you, and how are they after they work with you? All right, this will give you a good idea. And then in here is where your target audience is. So like, say for example, I'll just take my business because it's the easiest. So who are people before? They don't know what their starting points are. They don't know what their framework is. They're frustrated. They're confused. They've had a couple of clients and they don't know how to generate more. They're just completely at a standstill. After, they have a rinse and repeat formula where they bring in ideal clients consistently. How do they feel? They definitely feel happier, right? Because they're making money. But it's knowing the before and after. So within there, if that's how I know they are before and that's how I know they are after, who in general is my audience? My audience are female entrepreneurs that are in the 1 to 3 year. Okay, let me niche down. That's too broad. It's way too broad. So if I niche down specifically, like service-based, still too broad. Break it down. Coaches, consultants, because they're the same, right? Models are the exact same. And holistic therapists. Models are the exact same. The price point is just different. So what are you hearing me saying in this, in terms of the audience? You don't need a big audience to sell, right? I made my first 5-figure sales month, and I'm going to be really clear about this, my first 5-figure sales month when I had 86 people on my email. I had roughly 500 on Instagram. Less actually. It's 400 and something. The majority of these were people from the coaching program I'd been on and family and friends. Yet I managed to make a 5-figure month from that. Why am I sharing this with you? Because you need to know this. Do not focus on the number of followers people have on Instagram and think that they're huge. They're not. I know multiple 7-figure coaches that have around about this and less on Instagram. Why is this important to know? Smaranda, it's very eye-opening for me, Chantel. Be very specific about your audience and who they are. Shabina, know who you're talking to. Yeah. Okay. You get to figure out where your audience actually hang out. They may not be on Instagram. Everybody gets to be brought to your email list. But you also get to figure out specifically where they hang out. My go-to that I tell everybody about is Sprout Social. Sprout Social will tell you exactly where they hang out. You can use other platforms, but figure out where they hang out. I know my audience are on LinkedIn and Instagram. I know that. Yet when I started, I was told to put myself everywhere. Can't do that. Where do they hang out? Do you know where your people hang out? Do you know? Share if you know. And if you don't, that's okay. Because a lot of people don't talk about that. What do they talk about? They will give you, okay, this is what you do on Instagram, or this is what you do on Facebook or TikTok, or, you know, whatever. But they don't actually talk to you about where they hang out. They just say, oh, your ideal client hangs out here. Not necessarily true. You need to know exactly where they hang out. How then do you build your audience? Right. What are you always told? Lead magnet. What are the obvious ones that people tell you? Guide. Workbook. Cheat sheet. Do they work? Yes, if you already have an audience. Right? If you already have an audience, they work. If you don't have an audience, who are you giving them to? Where are they going to go? Who are you going to give them to? Smaranda, I'm not sure that I know anymore. So Smaranda, you do. But okay, so Smaranda, you've moved from in person to online, so you get to go look again. That's the only reason why you don't know, or you're not sure. Chantal, I'm guessing Facebook and maybe LinkedIn. Don't guess, actually find out. Guessing allows you to go into this whole thing of self-sabotage, right? And what we tend to do is we go where we feel comfortable. And like where I always felt comfortable was Facebook, because it's what I knew. But my people aren't on Facebook. They don't exist on Facebook. I bring people into a Facebook group because it's easier to have everybody together. But in terms of my Facebook page, it's just there for a decoration. If my VA wasn't managing it, it just would fall apart, to be honest. Hey, Paula. My audience hangs out on Instagram and Facebook. Yes, yours does, because you've got product. So from a visual point of view, Instagram for sure. But actually, Paula, just because I know you, from a business point of view, because you do B2B as well as B2C, your B2B will be on LinkedIn. So just know that too. Okay, so we are told to do these, right? Your guide, your workbook, your cheat sheet. And if you have an audience, yes, they're great. Like I will give out freebies all the time because I have an audience and it allows me to see who's warm and who's not, right? But if you don't, how are these going to work? They're brilliant, don't get me wrong, but if you just leave like a freebie up somewhere, they don't convert. You've got to actively be sharing them. ClickFunnels actually have a brilliant one at the moment, right? Because the hook of these lead magnets is really important. But ClickFunnels, I don't know if anyone has seen it, has a great one at the moment, which is how to generate 1,000 cold leads in 30 days. Who's not going to want that? It's a free trial, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't really matter, right? But that's a brilliant one. Like, that's an easy hook in for people. Like, really easy hook in. Like, ClickFunnels have already seen their sales go through the roof. The amount of affiliates that I see that are coming out now is incredible for ClickFunnels. I'm not one, I'm just saying. But I just think their advertisement, I'm fascinated by it. I love watching Russell go and just watching him do his thing, because he can be kind of awkward in the way he comes across, but you want to listen to him, right? Because you know he knows what he's talking about. So he's good fun to listen to. Okay, so what is your actual lead magnet? In my opinion, the best lead magnets are collaboration. It's putting you in front of another person's audience. It's giving you access to another person's audience. It's helping build your authority. It's helping you get confident in your delivery of your message. And it's the best lead magnet you can do. Now, I suggest you do these together. Also, workbooks don't tend to convert, just so you know, because it has the word work in it. So something like a cheat sheet, or meditations, or recipes, or yeah, recipes are a good one actually. Like if you're so Smaranda, for you, like recipes are a great one. Paula, the same for you, recipes are a great one. But these need to have a hook, like, so something like how to fill, like if you're like a Facebook group coach, for example, which is a brilliant niche to have because it's so specific, is how to fill your Facebook group with 1,000 people in 30 days. Like people would want that, right? So you put the two of these together for your audience. Okay, so lead magnets, but you need to do it with collaboration with people. So what do I mean by that? Go live with people. Go live with other people. Go live with people that have a bigger audience than you and that they're engaged. Just go live with them. Go live. You will see me doing that on the lead up to any of my events. I will go live with people. I will bring people onto my events and then we will talk about it and we will go live. Sharing, sharing, sharing. Smaranda, I noticed that on Instagram they work magic. Of course they do, because it's visual, right? Instagram is visual, so it's videos, it's what's more videos now than pictures, because obviously that's the way Instagram have said that they want to go, is down that real kind of video route. So great. Okay, next level is your messaging. Right, so I still haven't talked about your program. I have not talked about your program. We have gone from your foundations to your audience, now to your messaging. Your messaging matters. And what I mean by that is how you share information. You have got to be insanely bold with how you speak. It doesn't mean that you have to curse. It doesn't mean that you have to scream and shout. It's nothing like that. Just your words have got to be very specific to the topic that you're talking about. So say for me, I talk about business foundations and building it from the ground up so that you can go from zero to sold out. I'll happily say that those quick fixes don't work. I will also talk about this whole 6-figure thing because it pisses me off that people are not being honest and saying it's 6 figures in sales. They're talking about generating 6 figures, but they never put the word sales after it. I think that's very disingenuous. So stuff like that, I will happily speak about that. I will happily talk about how you get to 5 figures before you get to 6 figures, because when you get to 5 figures, it's an easy jump to 6 figures. People will then say it's an easy jump from 6 figures to 7. Well, it's not, because your mountain is much bigger. You know what I mean? So like you're going from 100k to 1 million, like it's all of this, versus your jump from 5 to 6 is here. Within here is where you'll have your growth, because you'll learn your systems, you'll learn to automate, you will up level, but you get to get this working for you to be able to call people in. Smaranda, I love going live. Chantal, authenticity. Yeah, okay. So be bold. Be really, really bold. Like, okay, there's 7 of you on here live with me right now. Each one of you, I want you to tell me right now, what is the one opinion that you want people to know about what you do? Like, what do you stand for? What is that one thing? So I've shared with you what mine is. My biggest one is this 6-figure thing. It drives me spatty. Absolutely spatty. But what is that one message that you want to drive home with the people that you're going to be supporting from where you stand? So Smaranda, you with nutrition, Paula, you with your cookies, Chantal, what mindset? Let's go. I want you to put in there, what is that one opinion? Because this is where you got to be really bold about it. Will people judge you? Who cares? You might right now say you care. I don't. I've had people message me and tell me they're unfollowing me because they don't like how much business I talk about. Okay. Thanks for being here. I'll have people unsubscribe from my emails because they only want to receive an email once a week. That's about them. That's not about me. I will happily share information over and over and over again so that it'll get you the transformation to get you from here to here. My job is not to hold you small. Kira, again, I'm real. Yes. Shabina, getting things done. Yeah. Kira, no bullshit. Aditi, you can start over your life after 50. Hell yeah, you can. Kira, respect. Yeah. Oh, Aditi, 100%. 100%. 100%. Like, age is nothing other than what's up in here. Nothing. Do you know there's 7.7 billion people in the world? And we seem to focus on like these little pool around us. Amy Amada said a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you follow her, she goes deep into messaging and she creates VIP days for coaches. But she was talking there a few months ago about how in our lifetime we will meet 10,000 people. 10,000 people. So 7.7 billion people in the world, and we will meet 10,000 people. The average person meets 10,000 people. So how many people are we worried about that we're going to upset or that's going to judge us? It's not going to be 10,000, right? It's just not. And the funny thing is that most times when you speak out, the people that agree with you will speak out louder than the people that don't. And if somebody doesn't, you could be guaranteed that somebody who does agree with you will jump in. You see it all the time. Chantal, I'm responsible for the life that I create and experience. Yes. Kira, not being liked. Unapologetically me. Yeah, okay. So how do you figure out your messaging? Ask, right? So this is your lead up. So you're going to figure out who you serve and be really specific, niche all the way down, right? All the way down. You got to figure out where they live, and then you're going to bring people onto your email list. You're going to generate a lead magnet that you're going to do in collaboration with people. All right, this doesn't have to take this long. This can be done in a 30-day period, which I'm going to build out with you on Monday. This gets to be done in a 30-day period where you can have incredible data coming from that. To figure out your messaging, you ask people. You ask all these people. If you have people on social media, put up polls, start asking questions in your posts, start going live and asking questions. When you're doing your collaborations, ask questions. On your email list, ask questions. Just ask. I ask questions all the time. All the time. And whatever they tell you, that's where your messaging is. Right there, that's where your messaging is. What do people really need? Think about how many questions I have asked you since we came on. 45 comments on here. How many questions have I asked you? I've consistently asked you questions. Why? Because I need information from you. Why do I need information from you? So I can get to know you. Why do I need to get to know you? So that I can know how to serve you. That's my job. So you have got to know how to serve people. The only way to know how to serve people is to ask them. Is this hitting home with everybody? We make things super complicated, right? Like, I love sharing my stories of what didn't work, because most people can go, oh, I feel like that now, right? So my first 6 months of my business, I did everything arseways. I built my program. I expected people to come. Let me say that. I expected people to come. I was active in a lot of Facebook groups. I did the Gary Vee method, where you go in and you connect with people. But what I didn't do was I didn't niche down, and I actually focused on people that were never going to buy at my price point. So this is why I'm saying to you, you got to know all this. I was not targeting people that would pay for what it was that I was offering. Was I fairly confident in my ability to deliver? Yes, that side of me I was. Even though I'd feel nervous whenever I was going on to calls, I was still confident that what I was doing was providing value. But I had a level of ego about me and a level of arrogance about me, and I never actually asked people what they want, because in my world, and I'm going to say in Joanne's world, Joanne knew better, right? I had to be right, and it was my way, because my way was what was going to work. Not a very humble way to run a business, but also didn't generate any results. So 6 months in, I got my first client, and at that time it was 2K to work with me for the 3 months. And I remember her saying yes, and me going, oh my God, I still remember my uncle was here painting my house. And I ran downstairs, I was in my sitting room, and I ran into him to scream and shout at him. He had no idea what was going on, but my God, he was excited for me. Leah was jumping up and down. She knew what was going on, but it didn't really fully make sense to her, like what was going on. And then nothing happened. Nothing happened then for the next couple of months. And I was like, I was running masterclass after masterclass after masterclass, and I had some masterclass where nobody attended, and I'm like, but I'm doing what the program told me to do, right? And it's funny, you know, the way people will come in front of you exactly when you need them to, and then it's up to you whether or not you trust yourself to move forward with them. That was what happened to me. A couple of months before that, a friend of mine, Lisa Mitten, had said to me about this business coach that she had met, and she's like, Joanne, she is totally for you. She's like, she's not for me, but she's totally for you. She was like, your personalities match, your energy matches. She's like, she's definitely for you. And I was like, yeah. At this stage, I'd already handed over, I think, 13 grand, like in different coaching things. And I'm like, I'm not handing out any more money. I'm not making money. Remember, I'm sharing with you what didn't work for me. So I was like, I'm not handing out any more money. Anyway, after I got up to the end of October, and I was like, this is just not working for me. Like, whatever I'm doing isn't working. I actually don't know what the hell I'm doing. I need help. And I happened to have this conversation with my friend Lisa again, and she was like, the business coach is doing a challenge. She was like, you should hop on. I kid you not, within 10 minutes of this woman talking, I was like, I don't care what you're selling, I have to have it. And I was literally waiting with my card, like ready to go, like to buy. And I've been with her ever since. And I'm very grateful for her and for all of her teachings and for all of her, how she shows up. But I'm sharing with you what didn't work, because I also want to share with you something else. So I've just told you how much I'm grateful for her and the teachings that she is giving. However, this is not about her, this is about me. I hit my first 5-figure month in March 2021. First 5-figure month. Lost my shit, right? Thought this was incredible, couldn't get over it. I was crying, I was excited. And then literally, I kid you not, my ego kicked back in again. I was like, Archer, I have it figured out now. I don't need any help. stopped listening to my coach, stopped listening to her, and kept doing it my way. Turning up to coaching calls, I was telling her what she wanted to hear, but I was not following through on what she was sharing. It was my way. For the next 8 weeks, I had no sales, and I was in a sales period. I had no sales. Why am I sharing this with you? Because we rinse and repeat the same patterns until we choose to break them. I stopped and went, okay, what actually worked for me when I made my 5K, my first 5-figure month? What happened? I was like, I actually followed the coaching. I got very clear on who it was that I wanted. I had my lead magnet. My messaging was crystal clear. There was no questions about it. And I asked them, what do they need? And I took the coaching. So many people will go to events like this, or they'll have a coach. The coach will share with them what to do, and they will discount what the coach is saying, and they'll do it their way. And then they'll bitch that it doesn't work, and they'll moan that it doesn't work, and they'll start getting upset and start self-sabotaging, going, I can't do this, because you want to feel comfortable in the approach. You are not going to be comfortable doing this. My cousin Matthew, he's a personal trainer, and he came out with the best thing ever, and I've used it so many times since. He always said, you're already uncomfortable with where you are. So why not be uncomfortable going after what you want? Either way, you're going to be uncomfortable. I was like, that is just brilliant, right? I was like, it's so true, because if we're not getting what we want right now, we're uncomfortable because we're not getting what we want. So why not actually be uncomfortable in growth and getting what we want? Makes all the difference. Okay, so your messaging. You get to be bold, you get to ask. Let me break it down in terms of content. You need email marketing and you need social media. You don't get to do an either or. You need a strategy for this and you need a strategy for this. They should match. They should match. These are your hot leads. These are cold to warm. Know that. Most people put their time and energy here rather than here. This is where your time and energy gets to go. Not here. Here. Unless, of course, you're a social media coach. That's different. Put your time and energy here. It is the one place that most people avoid because they feel super uncomfortable with it. Yet, you'll say that going like live on social media is most uncomfortable, but yet you'll ignore your email list. This is where your money is. Do you know 5% of your email list are always ready to buy from you? So think about that. If you had 100, just 100 people on your email list, that's 5 people that are ready to buy from you right now. If you have no clients, that's a lot. Like if you're selling a 3K package, it's 15K. How many of you have an email list? Share that with me. Do you have an email list? I can tell you now, the quality of the leads that come off social media are poor unless they get onto your email list. If they're not getting onto your email list, then they're not a hot lead. Can you get people from social media onto your email list? 100%. And that's what you want to do here. But you've got to bring them from here to here. You don't actually sell to them here. You entice them here and you bring them into your email list and you sell to them from there. So yeah, let me know if you have an email list. Okay, now we move on to my jam. Making offers is my thing, people. This is my thing. I am obsessed with offers. I used to be the shyest person you would ever meet. I was so reserved. I didn't even have like my own profile picture on Facebook because it just, the thoughts of people looking at me was horrendous. And now I'm featured like worldwide on different things. But this, when you understand offers, and we're going to go through this next Thursday, when you understand offers, you will let go of every yucky thing that you feel around this, right? Oh, I love making offers because whether or not you realize it, you're always making offers. So whenever you're asking people questions, you're offering for them to give you information, right? Whenever you're doing a call to action, like on a social media post, like drop an emoji, let me know what you think, share, whatever, That's an offer. That's an offer, right? So offers are essentially call to actions, but we associate them with money, right? So when you let go of what it actually means in terms of being money, Kira, get yourself an email list. In terms of being money, it takes on a different approach, right? So what I want you to do is take a deep breath in and remind yourself that your offers are not about you. They're not about whether or not you're good enough. They're not about whether or not you feel okay. They're not about, you know, whether we got a good night's sleep the night before, whether we've got a period, you know, whether we're going through premenopause, you know, nothing like that. They're not anything like that. What they're about is the person that's on the other end. So I always go like this. We want to flow, right? We want to flow. So always focus on the person that's in front of you. They're the ones that matter, not how you feel. Because we never want to make decisions based on how we feel, because they're always poor ones. So, I still haven't talked about your program. Has anyone noticed that? Yeah, there's a reason for that, people. There's a reason. Okay, so you go from your foundations to your audience, to your messaging, to your offer. What do you offer? So right now, tell me, what is your offer? Put it into the chat. What is your offer? Or what do you think your offer is? Even more fun, what do you think your offer is? Like I said, we are going to be going deep into this on Monday, deep into this on Thursday. And then the following Monday, I'm going to show you how to do consistent 5-figure launches, not just one, consistent ones. Because they're fun. They're good fun. And know that if you're shy, if you're introverted, it doesn't stop you from doing all of this. I'm an introvert, which might sound strange, but I'm an introvert. I'm bubbly, but I'm an introvert. I prefer being with less people than more people, but I can turn it on when I'm in front of people. Never thought I'd be able to say that. Okay, so I'm going to break down your offer. Keep putting into the chat what your offer is right now. Okay, so in true form, as I've been doing it, what your offer is not is your program. Most people think it's your program. Chantel, don't have one yet. Get to list build first. Yeah, you do. You do, Chantel. Okay, so your offer is not your program. Most people think it's your program, but your program is actually just a logistics. So it's how it actually works. People don't buy that. People actually don't care. They just don't care. What people want is the transformation. So your offer is around the transformation. What is the transformation that you're offering people? So again, it's easy to take my business, right? Because I can speak into that really easy. My transformation is to get you from 0 to sold out with clients. How I do that is my program, but that's not what I offer. Kira, extrovert, introvert, totally me, list build, yes. I hope this is making sense, right? So it's not your program that you offer, it's what is the transformation. There's always a transition for people to go from where they currently are to where they want to be. So if you think about you guys, right? So a lot of you are fairly new, like that is in, there's probably would be safe to say, and I'm not trying to cause offense to anyone if I'm saying if this is wrong and it doesn't apply to you, but it's probably safe to say most of you are at the very starting gates of your business and that you don't have consistent clients. If you've had 1 or 2, great, but there's no consistency that's there. So the transition for you will be to get from 0 to sold out. What will it take for you to get there? All of this. It's the rainbow. This is your rainbow, right? With your unicorn and your rainbows. This is your rainbow. Here's the pot of gold. Just with the fact I'm Irish. Pot of gold there. Joke. Okay, so your transformation is 0 for me, from my clients, is 0 to sold out. Okay, 0 to sold out clients. So your offer is within that. Your offer is also from here. We're going to go into this deep next Thursday, but this is what your offer is. Remind yourself your offer is not your program. Do you know I will never ever go into an event and have my offer pre-prepared? True story. Never will I have my offer pre-prepared. It is rare that I don't think I've ever offered the same thing twice. No, I don't think I have. My program is my program, don't get me wrong. My program is my program. That doesn't change. My offer will change because I've got to pitch it to where people are at. I can't choose to pitch it from what suits me and what I'm comfortable with. I've got to pitch it for where people are at. The only way to know that is by ask questions. So I'll be constantly asking you guys questions so I have a fair idea where you're at. And then it's the transformation. Okay, Kira was doing that the other day. Shabina, rainbow. Okay, so let's break it down. Pull this off. I did this the other day and the whole bloody thing came down. I have a little couch over here and it is just full of all of these. Okay, so this is the order of what you're going to do. Number 1, your foundations. Okay, you know what you're creating, right? Your creation should be focused on relationship building, to how many clients you want to serve. How many clients, right? It's the number of clients. If you're in your first year of business, you want to be focusing on one-on-one clients. You don't, everybody wants the group. You cannot know how your group is going to operate if you have not run one-on-one clients, right? So you want to have at least 10 to 15 one-on-one so that you can figure out the flow, the order, how people are receiving information before you go into group, okay? So that's what you want to aim it to be. Your program, which is what you come after your offer. You always want to build out your program after, right? Not before, after. Always go client-led. So after your offer is where you'll know what your program is going to be. It's going to be what people need. It is fine to go, like say for example, if you have a 16-week program, right? It is fine to just be a week ahead. It is totally fine, right? Your first session, no matter what, is going to be clarity, correct? It's always going to be clarity because you need to figure out what people need. Whether that's your sales call, whether that's your actual first session, the very first starting place is always clarity. Clarity on what they want to create, what's their goals, what's their vision. It's clarity. Once you know where the clarity is, then you get to know what step 2 is, step 3 is, step 4. You know what I mean? That's how you build it out, but you've got to get the people in to be able to do that. Is that making sense? So like if you, say for example, had a 16-week program, you don't want to be charging less than 3 for that. And I would even say that's quite low. I had this conversation last night with I'm onboarding new clients at the moment because we're starting. The next round is coming in September. So the first week of September, we kick off the 5th of September, and I was just helping her build out what it was going to be, and she was doing 6 months for this, which is very, very low. But like if you think about it, if you were to do 10, that's 30,000. If you do 15, right, so that's another 5, so that's another 15 for a 16-week program. It's 45. You see how much closer you're getting to your 6 figures by doing that? Yeah? Aim to focus on relationships. When you're at the start, aim to focus on relationships. If you focus on money, you get into getting energy and you get nothing. You always want to be in a place of giving. Always. Never be in getting energy. I promise you, you will get nothing. Anytime any of my clients get stuck is because they're in getting energy. Always. Okay. So number 2 is your audience. Okay. Build. And get to know. Yeah, build and get to know. Chantal, I feel so relieved now. I was stuck in the idea I had to figure it all out way in advance. No, and that's what a lot of people do. There's been one lady that I've known for quite a while, and she still is doing the opposite of what I'm telling her to do. We are over a year in and she still has not had one client because she refuses to follow this order. Refuses point blank to do it. If after a couple of months your way isn't working, it's feedback for you, right? Okay, so your audience, build and get to know them. You want to have this being 50% of your time as a business owner. 50%. I'm deadly serious about that. 50% around connection, engagement, growth. 50% of your time. It will get faster for you as you grow, 100%. But you want to spend 50% of your time there, okay? Number 3 is messaging. And number 4 is your offer. And after this then, it's into your program. That is your flow. They are your pillars. That is your flow. Can you do this in 1 month? Yes. If you haven't done it before, will you? No. So take the pressure off yourself. If you have never done this before, this will take you about 4 months to get going. Be okay with that. There's cash injections, right, that you can do along the way to get people into here. I teach that. I literally showed my newbies last night how to do that so that they can start getting clients in immediately before they've even done that, because it boosts your confidence, right? Like, it'll boost your confidence to do that. But this is your framework. This is your framework right here. When you get into year 2, it looks totally different. Totally different. Because then what you start looking at is like you've got a different funnel then, right? You've got a different funnel. So this will be your audience, and then you're going to bring them into 2 different offers. You'll have like an ascension plan. So you'll have like your small and then your large. Yeah. So for me, group part 1, group part 2, and 1-to-1. That's year 2. Year 1 is your one-on-one clients. That's it. One-on-one clients. My whole foundation of my business are on this. It never changes. Never changes, which is why I'm so successful. Because I haven't changed it. People get caught up in all these nice to haves and, you know, I need to try something else, this isn't working. No, you've got to give it time. You've got to give it time, and you've got to be willing to do this work. In here, like if this is to take 50% of your time, but your main focus is here, what's the point? This should be about 20%, maybe 25%. You don't want to be in sales mode all the time unless you have a product that's different. You've got a product that's different. Or when you've got a service, why would you be selling it all the time? You'll be doing big launches, not selling it all the time. Will your sales be open? Possibly, if you've got an evergreen. I don't. I do intakes. My next intake is September. We already have people coming in. So this is your framework. My offer to you today is, if you're serious about this and you want to get your business off the ground, and I mean genuinely get your business off the ground, and you've tried figuring it out yourself before, you're sick and tired of trying to figure it out, it isn't working for you, I'm going to put my roadmap call into the chat box for you, where you get to book a free call with me. My program will get you from 0 to consistent clients. There is multiple client success stories in here. Multiple. It's not a fluke. It's not a fluke that they all get results. They're all getting them because they're following this method. Those that don't follow the method will not get the results. This is tried and tested, and I use it in my own business consistently. Consistently. I never worry about making an offer and being able to pull in clients, because I always will. That's not an arrogance piece. It's just, I know what it's like to have no clients. I know what it's like to be struggling, trying to figure it out on your own. I know what it's like when you're doing everything you think you should be doing and there's nobody turning up. There's nothing worse than when you've got like the crickets, and the crickets bring friends to any event that you're doing. That's awful. It's a horrible place to be. And remember, you don't need a huge audience to sell to. You do not. My first, when I got into the flow of this, right, so that month I made my first ever 5 figures in terms of sales. My first masterclass, so I did back-to-back masterclasses. My first masterclass, I think, had 5 people on it and 3 people booked a call. All 3 people signed. Great. My second one, nobody turned up to. Nobody. But you know what I did? I did it anyway, and now I use that as one of my like byproducts. And then my third one, one person turned up to. and that one person came on and bought. So you don't need a lot, but you've got to be focused on this. It is time to get serious about business. There's too many people out there playing business and getting frustrated when things aren't working. You've got to stand as a CEO and go, okay, what is it going to take for me to be able to succeed in this? What is it going to take for me to actually bring in consistent clients? This right now might seem like a lot to you. It's not. It's not. This also, price points might seem like a lot to you. It's not. But you've got to start. Waiting until it feels perfect is never the time to start. You've got to start with where you're at. And make sure that you have somebody support you. I'm completely unattached as to whether or not somebody signs up to me or they don't. What I am attached to is making sure that I keep driving home how you can get results. Because you can get results. There's no reason why you can't. So the link is there for you to book the call. My next intake for Takeoff it's happening now. So we start the first week in September. It's a 12-month program where I'm going to walk you literally the whole way through. The whole way through. There's so many success stories in here for what works and that it works. So if you want to book a call to see whether or not this is the right fit for you, do that. Do that. I've opened up space in my calendar, so hop on the call. Don't walk away from this and go, I want to figure it out myself. I promise you, doing it yourself doesn't work. You can hop on any amount of freebies that you want. But if you're like me and you need the background stuff to go with it, to know how to do all of this stuff, then you're going to need support to be able to do it. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I thoroughly enjoyed this. And for those of you that are joining me for the rest of the masterclasses on Monday, we have to generate your audience within 30 days. Then we have create your offer, which is on Thursday, and then the following one is the secrets to consistent 5-figure launches. So I will see you all there. Have a great day.